Welcome to a nourishing midweek lunch hour conversation with Spokane's newsmakers, thought leaders, and popular entertainers. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live.
It's May 22nd. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Today on Spokane Talks Live, we have Michael Catchart, who is with Better Spokane and is a Spokane Talks contributor. We're going to talk about the nearly 90 folks that registered to run for office here in the Spokane area and on the Spokane ballot. Connor's calling the weather next on Spokane Talks Live.
Hello Spokane, this is Connor from Spokane Talks Online with your 5-day weather forecast. Today it looks high of 84, while tonight looks to be a low of 57 and clear. Tomorrow we could see a slight chance of thunderstorms in the morning, otherwise it'll be mostly sunny skies with a high of 84 and a low of 58. Thursday looks to be also a 20% chance of showers, but otherwise mostly cloudy skies with a high of 84 and a low of 56. Friday we could see mostly sunny skies with a high of 82, while the low will be 55. And Saturday will be partly sunny skies with a high of 75 and a low of 53. Thank you guys for listening in. Hope you have a good day.
Hi everyone, I'm weather forecaster and assignment anchor at Spokane Talks Online, Colin Pittman, and I am honored to be the host of the new program, Spokane's Youth Spotlight, brought to you by Spokane Talks Online and the Spokesman Review, where we are interviewing and getting to know outstanding youth in our community each month. If you'd like to nominate someone in our community that you think should be recognized, that is doing something great here in the region or has an amazing story, visit SpokaneTalksOnline.com or Spokesman.com and look under Youth Spotlight to nominate. And be sure to tune in each month as we find the best in the Inland Northwest.
Well, it's the 22nd of May, as I said a little earlier outside, and I wish we were, when I recorded that a few minutes ago, we made the comment, we need to be doing some shows outside. So watch this summer. We're going to take the live show and do it outside on the front lawn. I think that'll be kind of fun. Hey, I've got a guest here that I've known now for about, 6-7 months.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. We didn't have to say that so sadly. Jimmy Morris, you were our lead person at Gonzaga University. You're now going to be a senior?
Yeah.
On a 3-year plan, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
You're going through fast.
I'm going through fast,
yeah. For the Gonzaga University New Venture Lab for this last year, first of all, what is the New Venture Lab?
Yeah, so Gonzaga University's New Venture Lab is all student run. It's a club at Gonzaga. There is like a selection process.
To get in the club?
To get into the club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started 2 years ago now as just a team member,
okay.
And then I was a project manager last year and a project manager for you guys. And essentially we get businesses, usually startups or around there from Spokane,
right.
And we kind of consult them on directions that they might want to take.
Right.
Yeah.
I bet we were kind of a different bird, weren't we?
Yeah, you definitely were.
and I've got to be, the funniest thing that happened, and we'll go back and talk about the beginning, but when you and your team made the report, now what, 3 or 4 weeks ago,
yeah,
maybe
not
almost
too
a month
long ago, yeah.
And I said something about our naming the company Spokane Talks Digital,
Yeah.
And one of the guys, and I forget his name, said, Kent, that's so 2005. So I get what I would deserve talking with young college students.
Yes.
But what we liked, both Ryan McNeese, my business partner, and myself, was that you guys really took a look. You came from the outside, you looked at the analytics, you looked at our plan, what we're doing, what we're not doing, how to make changes. In fact, Ryan and I had started to really say, now it's time to up our game here at Spokane Talks. And we held off because we thought we're going to get some great advice.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll have to, and both Ryan and I said this as we walked away that day, wow, you guys and gals really came through. You really saw the vision of what we're trying to do and made some really good suggestions, which we're already beginning to implement.
Yeah.
So do you feel good about that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do feel good about it. And it was really fun because, and it was different because all the other businesses we have are not on, they're not online.
Right.
So it was kind of fun.
They're more the
working-
traditional.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, growing up when I did, this is everything that I've had my whole life.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm kind of used to it. So it was kind of fun to get to share my ideas with you and the team, as well as a company that revolves around Spokane, where Gonzaga is.
Right. Now, you're from North Bend.
Yes.
Okay, you've got mom, dad, and a sister
And
over
a sister,
there, right?
yep.
Okay. They didn't go out bear hunting the other day, did they?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
my goodness.
Anyone you know?
No,
Oh,
nobody
okay.
I knew.
Okay. Your dad is a policeman?
Yes, he
Okay.
is. He's now a detective for Mercer Island over there, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
great. Well, we appreciate, and let's tell the folks what you're doing this summer.
Yeah, so this new venture lab thing kind of turned into a full-time deal.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so I'm here as a sales now
Right.
for Spokane Talks Media, and
Okay.
loving it so far. It's been about a week.
Yeah. And we're getting ready
But-
to head out to talk about our new venture. Shall we break the news a little bit?
I think we might want to.
Okay. A lot of folks have said, well, but you're not on TV. The fact is, those under 40, 45 get what we're doing.
Yeah.
Younger people, because you're on, we've grown up, those under 40 have grown up with the electronics and so forth. But there's still that, you're not over the air. But that's going to change soon after, a few days, I think, after Independence Day in July. And that is, we will be doing a weekly half-hour show on Fox 28. And we're kind of excited about
Yeah,
that.
that's
aren't
big
we?
news,
Big,
yeah.
Big time, yeah.
Big time.
So you've jumped from helping us move in the online stuff to now being on over-the-air TV.
Yeah, and it's great to see like the whole process,
Yeah.
like where we started versus changing a few things that
Well, we
kinda
changed our
helped with.
names
Yeah.
from Spokane Talks Online because we're not going to be just online.
Right.
So it's Spokane Talks now. Changed the company name to Spokane Talks Media because it covers more of the kinds of things we're doing. A lot of people still call us a radio station, but we're not.
Yeah.
You know, everything is video except 2 programs, and those will be changed here pretty quickly. But it's kind of fun. My mantra right now is careful what you ask for, Ken, because this whole thing going on over the air is going to change how we operate a bit too. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So if people want to sponsor a program or anything else, they can call you, right?
Yes, they can call me. Yes.
Okay. And how would they reach you?
I have an email. It's jimmy@SpokaneTalksMedia.com.
Okay.
And they can call me.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay. All right. And our phone number is on the website
Yes.
and everything else. So
Yes.
well, great. Good to have you on board.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, it's exciting.
It is kind of fun. In fact, we share a big table as a desk.
Yeah, all right.
So you have to put up with me when
I have
my
to put up with
computer
you.
doesn't cooperate. So, hey, Jimmy, welcome aboard.
Thank you
Good
very
to have
much.
you on board.
I'm
All right.
excited.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with Michael Catchart and talk about half the population who's running for office this year right after this.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
To find the right home for you, you'll work with your realtor to compare the properties you're interested in, analyze the market, and figure out a reasonable offer price. And now, here you are, ready to make an offer. Yay, you! Here's how it works. First, you'll complete an offer sheet which your realtor will then present to the owner. Sometimes, a nice note to the owner can help your offer stand out. Butter them up. Tell them how much you love their garden, that it reminds you of gardening with your grandmother as a child. Do not mention you're gonna bulldoze it and put in a pool. The owner may accept the offer, reject it, or counter. It's important to be in close contact with your realtor during the negotiation process so any changes can be reviewed. Your realtor is like your consigliere, and that makes you the Don. Once your offer is finally accepted, there are usually some contingencies that must be met in order to keep the contract alive. Inspections are totally common in real estate transactions. They include termite checks, surveys to determine boundaries, appraisals to determine value for lenders, title reviews, and structural inspections. This stuff is mind-numbingly fascinating. But you know what's even more fascinating? Actually getting your new house.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground. Be prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and a description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
Well, as I said at the beginning of the program, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It really is. And Michael Catchart, welcome.
Yeah,
You've
thank
been
you.
running around from one thing to another.
Yeah.
Yesterday, today, and so forth. And
it's nonstop.
What's the weather like outside?
Oh, it is gorgeous.
It is.
It
Okay.
is
so
warm.
the weather
and
report we had a few minutes ago is still accurate.
It's still accurate.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what are we doing in here?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Let's get outside. We should shoot these outside.
Well, we're going to. We're
good.
going to. I thought about that this morning, and we're just going to do some of these. The reason you're here today is last week was
Candidate filing week.
and I think half the population really did file,
Yeah.
at least at the statewide level.
Yeah, no kidding.
Crazy the number of people that are running for various offices and so forth. So you're on top of this.
Yeah.
And so let's start where you want to start.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a ton of stuff we can go through. Obviously, local races are probably a bit more pertinent in folks' minds at this point, so
Okay.
we can start there. There wasn't a ton of surprises during candidate filing week. A couple things jumped up that we hadn't anticipated, but
Right.
overall, I think it was a pretty interesting week to watch. So I guess we could start with county commissioner.
Yeah,
that's a good place to start.
let's do it.
So the current incumbent, Mary Cooney in District 2, appointed last year to the seat.
Right.
She is only going to have one opponent, which
Rob Chase.
Which is Rob Chase.
Okay.
I think a lot of us expected that a Democrat would get in that race.
Okay. But they chose not to.
They chose not to. They did not file. So
Okay.
it's just going to be her and Rob. And so, yeah, it's very interesting to take a look at. You can see the differences between their, if you go to their websites and take a look at who's supporting who.
Right.
You know, Mary has a long list. She's really been focused on endorsements.
Right.
Rob, not so much. He's got just a couple listed there so far. But, you know, I think the difference between the two of them, you know, Mary's going to really focus on budget issues. That's been her I think, bailiwick going back to her previous positions. And I think Rob is talking about taxes and jobs and roads and things like that. So some overlap, but some very different.
Should be
issues.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it will. It's a Republican versus Republican race.
Right.
So they're both going to be on the ballot going into November. It's going to be maybe a little hard to predict, but I think at this point, it's there's probably a good argument to be made that Mary is the front runner between the two of them.
I would have thought that. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's probably the case. So it'll be.
But it's a long time until what is it? August 7th or 6th?
Well, that's the primary, and they both make it through the primary.
That's true. That's true. So really.
Yeah. So the focus for them will really be on the general to build up that name ID and persuade the voters.
Remind me, are they on the ballot in the primary?
Yes.
Okay. But that's it almost doesn't matter what the votes are,
right?
Except for perception, perhaps, and fundraising.
Yeah, it'll help. I mean, if you're the underdog and you come up on top in the primary, obviously that's a big boon to you.
Well, or if you're a close second.
Yes.
Then that's an advantage on fundraising. Right. See, Michael, I'm close. A little more money will work.
It's all relative.
Yeah,
right?
it really
is. Yeah.
Okay, then there's the Al French.
Then there's the other race, which is another very interesting race. So Al did draw a Democrat opponent.
Okay.
And her name is Robbie Anthony.
Okay.
It's going to be an interesting race to watch. First-time candidate. She's talking a lot about climate change and universal health care and some of those much more traditional kind of progressive
What does that have to do with the county?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
She's also talking about budgeting, but on top of budgeting, it's climate change, it's healthcare, it's.
Haven't we been going through some of that with the city council?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we want to stay away from at the county level.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to deal with a city council that gets into a lot of issues that are outside its purview.
It's really the management of the county.
That's right.
When it comes down to it,
it's managing the county, it's administrating, it's dealing with land use, it's budget yeah,
Right.
we don't need a lot of distraction. So
No.
that's going to
Okay.
be, I think, a lot of what Robbie is probably going to be running on.
Okay. Okay.
Let's stick with the county.
But
and
again, which is two, they're on the ballot, but they're on the ballot automatically in November again too.
Right.
Okay.
Right, because there's only two of them.
Right.
Let's stick with the county, and we'll go to treasurer.
Okay.
So
Speaking of money.
Yeah, speaking of money. So current State Senator Baumgartner is running for county treasurer, and he did draw an opponent, a Democrat opponent.
Okay.
And I've heard some folks out there kind of talking about maybe this is a little bit of a proxy campaign against Mike, against the senator, because
he's a very conservative, very conservative senator. And
but also there's rumors out there that perhaps he'd be open to running for mayor. And so perhaps and the
keep
person
him on his toes.
The person who's running against him, my understanding is pretty good friends with Council President Stuckert, and perhaps it's a little bit of a proxy.
So who is
a proxy
it
fight? So it's his name's David Green.
Okay.
He is also the person who filed the recall charges against Mayor Condon, if you recall, a year or so ago. Right. He's a CPA, but also a very longtime Democrat activist. Been involved in Democrat politics and in the party structure. Okay. And so that'll be a very interesting one to watch. I think
again only the two.
Only the two, so they're going to continue on. So nothing really pertinent in the primary, although both of them will want to.
Pretty safe
get
to
the
say
edge
that Michael is the leading candidate.
I think so, and I think he's such a good fundraiser and campaigner. I would definitely.
He's been around for a while to do all the political stuff. So.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt about that. Also in the county, we've got an assessor race where there's two Republicans running against each other.
Yes.
One was a previously appointed 4th District state representative. The other one is a career assessor, deputy assessor, and he's worked in that office there for 20-some years. So, it'll be very interesting. You kind of got the outsider
again, only
versus
the
the
two?
insider. Only the two. So,
wow.
So again, going all the way to the general election.
Wow.
Vicki Dalton, our county auditor, will have no opponent. And neither will Larry Haskell, our county prosecutor. So they both get off scot-free, barring a write-in candidate that decides to.
Both of them, I think, are well respected in the community, and so it would be tough in some ways.
Yeah, although
you'd have to have some pretty good credentials.
I think that's definitely true with the both of them in a lot of ways. Although with Larry, I am a little surprised because some of the advocates for more criminal justice reform, I know, are maybe want him to move quicker or do some things a little differently. So it's a little surprising
or lay
they
off
didn't.
Some things.
Yeah. So it's a little surprising they didn't challenge him there. But But overall, it does make sense.
Wow. Okay. Any more 2-4?
Sure. Well, let's go to county sheriff.
Okay.
There's a fun one.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
There's the fun one, right?
Okay.
So you got Sheriff Knezovich. I think he's running for his 4th term
Yes.
as Spokane County Sheriff. He was elected back in appointed.
I think
and
he was
elected
appointed and then
06.
elected twice.
Yep.
And then this will be the 3rd election, if you will.
Maybe that's right. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And so he did draw an opponent.
Yes. Because I know where you're going with this one.
Well, the person's name is Dump. So, I mean, literally, he legally changed his name to dumpaussie.com.
Okay.
And his previous name, I guess, was Scott McClay.
He's had other names, too.
I'm sure, yes. He's known as a bit of a rabble-rouser and makes a lot of, gives a lot of local electeds a very difficult time. So
after Ozzie.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
He has, yes, he does. He has a grudge, and he's going to pursue it.
He'll be lucky if he pulls 10%, honestly, I think.
Oh, no, I think he'll be, I think just by default you get in the 30s, but how much higher than that? It's probably not much.
Yeah, well, the polls I've heard about it, Ozzie is about 85% approval rate.
Oh, I would believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
To get someone like that that's running against him, it might tip some more people over to Ozzie.
Yeah,
so,
and he is running as an independent, so it's a little bit different. But again, one-on-one, so they'll go all the way to the general.
Oh Lord, okay.
So that conversation
There's
will
a trend here, Michael.
Continue on. There is. Let's see what else. I mean, countywide.
Well, how about some of the Washington legislative races?
Yeah, so let's do that. So the 3rd district is the kind of the center core of the city of Spokane there.
Right.
And there's two races going on there. Representative Riccelli did draw an opponent,
Okay.
a lesser-known individual.
Okay.
But
he's probably pretty safe.
I would say so, yeah. The more interesting race to watch in the third, though, is going to be the Ormsby and Dave Lucas race. So Tim Ormsby
and
Dave
Ormsby
Lucas.
stubbed his toe recently with the drinking and driving issue.
Well, the rollover DUI isn't helpful. Although, if you go back, 15 years, former Representative Alec Wood, same thing, except he was reelected multiple times after. So, you know, I'm not sure if that's necessarily a game changer or not. But
apparently not, no.
But it does open up the person to some criticism. And Dave Lucas is a very interesting guy. He's served in the Marine Corps in Iraq,
He's like a
Afghanistan,
lieutenant colonel,
Africa, retired lieutenant colonel.
Yes.
Yep, he's had some.
In fact, he's on our program tomorrow.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
So
He's a great guy.
We'll get a chance to meet him tomorrow.
He's the chair of Rockwood neighborhood on the South Hill. So
okay.
very community-minded guy,
Right,
very involved, Boy Scout leader.
He's got a couple kids. I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah. So he's a fascinating guy. You'll enjoy the
I'm
conversation.
looking forward to meeting him. We've communicated back and forth on email, but that just doesn't tell you much, you know.
Yeah.
You know. So.
And you know, typically you don't expect much out of a candidate in the third. You know, we really haven't seen real robust campaigns going back a while. But I think he's looking to put.
He's got a
one
chance.
Together. Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch and
Who
see
else
what
in
happens.
the third?
That's it. That's what we got. So that's it for this year.
Okay, well then let's do this. Let's take a break and come back and hit the others. Can we take a commercial break?
We can certainly do that.
We're going to take a commercial break. We have permission from Michael. We'll be right back after this.
The economy is getting stronger. Banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
Is your child having trouble coping with a personal disability, but don't know where to go? Consider our friends at Breakthrough Incorporated. Breakthrough takes great pride in mentoring their DDA clients who have intellectual disabilities and their BRS clients who have challenging behaviors toward the creation of safe, appropriate, ethically sound life goals. They integrate programs at school and home to enrich their lives. They work hard to make a positive difference in you and your family's lives. Breakthrough provides a highly structured, fully staffed residential setting in local neighborhoods, 6 in Spokane and 2 in the Tri-Cities. Diagnoses affect people differently, so their service to each resident is unique, giving them the opportunity to grow and evolve. For more information on Breakthrough, visit their website at breakthroughincorporated.org.
You're really doing it. You're ready to buy a house. You know what you can afford, you've got a pre-approval letter, and you and your partner haven't killed each other yet. Now's the fun part. First, think about your main requirements.
Location.
House type.
Square footage.
Number of beds and baths.
Garage.
Property age.
Then think about specific features.
Waterfront.
Pool.
Local schools.
Neighborhood safety.
Walking distance to parks.
Proximity to a decent Turkish bathhouse.
HO.
From there, input all your search criteria. Min and max prices, number of beds and baths, single fam, multifam, condo, co-op, villa, townhouse, farm, whatever. You can even draw your own custom search around the neighborhood you want. The open house is the most fun you can have in real estate. It's like having carte blanche to walk into a total stranger's house and snoop around while they're not there. Here are a few pointers. First, feel free to step in without knocking or ringing the bell. Unless you see a note saying otherwise, in which case, yes, knock and/or ring. It's generally considered good open house etiquette to wait until a group of buyers leaves a room or area before entering.
What are you talking about? Let's check it out. I know, so.
Listen to what other buyers are saying. They may know something about the property or neighborhood that you don't.
I bet they don't even know they have this.
Oh, no. Ask questions about the house, how long it's been on the market, the school district, the property taxes, but keep it cool. Don't give yourself away by sounding too excited.
And the schools in this area are incredible. Woo! They're actually building a brand new one 3 blocks away.
Wow!
And it should be open in the middle of next year.
Please do not steal. Finally, if there are snacks or refreshments, do not take them. It'll skew your perspective. Unless they're mini quiches. Those little are tasty as hell.
Welcome back. Kent Adams here with Michael Catchart, Better Spokane, and Spokane Talks Contributor. Wow, a lot of people running a lot of races, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm knocked over really in so many ways with the number of just two people races.
I know.
I mean, that surprised me in some cases because, you know, there's so often these third candidates out there. And we're not going to see as many, at least in the races that we've been talking about. That may change as we go down to Senate race and so forth.
Yeah, there really are very few of those. But the 6th legislative district does have
my district. Let's talk about it.
It does have a multi-candidate race for you, so there will be some competition there.
Okay.
So there are in the 6th district, open house seat in the 6th district. There's 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats running.
Okay.
I'll just kind of quickly go through it. So Dave Wilson, we've mentioned this before, former independent, now running as a Democrat. He is in that race. There's another one, Ryan Amitu. He's a veteran Bernie Sanders organizer.
Okay.
He's got some interesting perspectives. You know, he wants things like guaranteed full-time employment for laborers and things of that sort. So some very interesting perspectives that might cost quite a bit of money for taxpayers in the state. There's another individual, John Aiken Jr. Now, this person has actually been on the ballot probably 6 or 7 times.
Okay, so that's why
typically it's for a statewide race. Okay. He's one of the dozen or so that usually file in a governor or U.S. Senate type race. First time I'm aware of him running for a legislative seat, but he's on the ballot in the 6th.
Okay.
And then there's Jenny Graham, who I know you've spoken with in the past.
Right. I know Jenny.
And so she's in that race as well, running, and she's a first-time candidate there. But I think it's definitely going to come down to Jenny and
Dave.
Probably Jenny and Dave. Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Although that Democrat primary could be very interesting. One is a little bit more moderate, and the other is more progressive, and we'll see where the Democrat Party
that's why we have
wants
a primary
to go. Yeah.
Okay. So 4. That's the best you've done so far.
So that's 4. That's 4. I know.
Now, what about Michael Volz?
Yep. So Mike has one opponent, so that'll be another one, just 2. Same with Jeff Holy, Representative Holy.
Okay.
He's also got just one opponent.
Not notable names, as I recall.
No. So I believe Mike's opponent is Kay Moreno.
Okay.
And she's involved in some of the local organizing, I think specifically with regard to some low-income housing type stuff.
Okay.
And Jeff's opponent is, oh boy, her name is slipping my mind right now.
Kind of a Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, her name slipped my mind, but she is very involved with the Healthcare for All organization. I think she's the organizer of one of the Healthcare for All organizations. So, so yeah, that's an interesting one. In fact, very strange. The Stranger over in Seattle just had an article today or yesterday that went out talking about how Jeff and one other Republican representative have earned some money from one of the unions, and it really has their opponents upset because the opponents feel they should be getting that money.
Jeff got a union supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting the conflict that's created. I think there was one vote that they both took, and
you know, I think back to my days when I was the public affairs key person at a major company here in town. We often looked at, you don't take on someone else unless they have really a very strong chance of winning. You stay with the person that is, you know what I mean? Yeah. And Jeff, in a sense, has been there as a representative. He's the guy to stay with unless there's really a strong opponent. And I don't see in Jeff or Mike's campaign that there would be a terribly strong opponent. I could be wrong, but that's the way I look at it. Yeah.
Beyond that, then you've got the big 5th congressional race that is still cruising to be Kathy versus Lisa in the general.
But there are others running.
There are others. There are 3 others who've entered. All 3 of them are on the kind of right of center side of the spectrum.
And they're all going to tell you that those others that well, this year will be different. My campaign is different, and all that.
Well,
how many times have we heard that?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, one of those candidates has gotten a little bit of press. The other two, none at all. But I don't think any of them have any organization or name recognition. There's no.
It's
no
Lisa
chance.
and Kathy.
It's going to be Lisa and Kathy, and we'll see what it comes down to. I mean, I think Kathy, if you've paid close attention the last 2 weeks, her campaign is ramped up pretty significantly.
Yes.
Lisa's had her campaign going here for probably a month
and
or
very
so.
active in the city because you can see the campaign signs around town and everything else. And, and good for her.
Absolutely.
I mean, counter to that is that's not the deep support for Kathy that she's going to get outside of Spokane City. I mean, that's where her support's going to come from.
Absolutely.
So I don't blame Lisa. That's where she's got to get the best numbers she can.
Yeah, and Kathy will have to do very well outside of Spokane, and she just has to do reasonably well in Spokane.
Yeah,
and she'll
you're
continue.
You're
okay.
Right.
The last one I'll just bring up here, which is just an interesting scenario that we have.
Bring up the state, the Senate race.
Yeah. So
how many last count?
There are 29 candidates filed for U.S. Senate, and the funny thing is, going back before filing week, I think there were a total of like 6 or 7 folks that we sort of anticipated would get in. Most of them are unknown.
Yeah, but how can you miss 23?
Oh man, it's huge. In fact, there was 30. One dropped out, so we're at 29. But yeah, it's 29, and when you factor in the fact that each of them pay $1,740,
the state's doing okay.
That's over $50,000 the state just earned just by putting
maybe
this on the ballot.
Maybe they should send it to Seattle. They can cut back on their head count, head tax.
Head tax. That's right.
Who are the key candidates when it? I mean, with 29 people, all but 2 or 3 or maybe 4 will be out of the serious numbers.
So there's really, you've got
Maria Cantwell.
The incumbent.
Right.
She has a Democrat opponent who has no chance, but is an interesting.
But it's still the top 2 candidates,
person.
though.
It is. But this person's actually raising some money and running a little bit of a campaign on the west side, and that's Clint Tannehill.
Okay.
And then on the Republican side, you've got the big name that jumped in literally moments before the deadline, Susan Hutchison.
And that was that a surprise? It was to me.
It was a surprise to me, and
you're pretty tuned into what's going on.
I try to be. Yeah, I try to be.
So what was wrong with you, Michael? You failed us.
Clearly did not have my ear to the right wall when I was trying to listen in on stuff. But
what kind of a chance do you think she has?
Well, look, it's Washington State. It's very difficult. I've worked on a U.S. Senate campaign a little bit in the past. I've seen how difficult it is. Now, she does have some advantages that, the campaign I worked on didn't have. She's from the West Side. She was an anchor on the news over there. She's well known. She's
a female.
Well,
I think that will help.
Incredible fundraising abilities and contacts. I mean, she has a lot of advantages. Again, it's Washington State. You're running against Maria Cantwell, who's done pretty well in her reelection
I think
campaigns.
back, was it 4 years ago? Was it Chris Vance?
Chris Vance.
That was
16.
16, yeah. He was on our Meet the Candidate thing via phone. I was not impressed.
Yeah.
He surprised me because of his position, but he did not come over very strong.
Yeah, he
kind of missed the boat a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, he's more interested in criticizing, I think, other people than trying to sort of bring people around him and gain support that way. I think it's just his personality and the way that he is, but it's not the best for running for office. So.
No, probably not.
But the interesting thing on this whole deal with U.S. Senate, 29 candidates, it is a record by far. If I look back 30 years, and in fact, between U.S. Senate and governor, the most we'd ever had prior to this year was 17 candidates in 2016 for U.S. Senate.
Yes.
And the most candidates we've ever had for governor was 15, and that was back in 1996.
Wow.
And so I think it's safe to say we're in record-setting territory here with the number of candidates who filed.
Well, that's why we have you here, to keep us honest, but you need to pick the right wall for your ear, okay?
You're right.
All right. So
next time I'll do better.
We'll be watching this. Again, to Better Spokane, thank you for stepping up with Greater Spokane Incorporated and others, Ponderosa Republican Women, and We Believe We Vote. All 4 of you guys came together to help bring this process that we start shooting and live streaming on Tuesday, a week from today.
Wow.
The election
Very fast.
Yeah, it is here. And I know Sulani sent me the list last night, and of the 88, I think it is, maybe 87, because you said we lost one, candidates that she sent out invitations to, as of this morning, we had something like 26 or 27 that have already scheduled. So there's interest there, and including some big names. And so we start that on Tuesday and run that through. We take a couple weeks off in June because Tulani has another project, and then finish it up, and they'll all be done and ready to go by July 4th. Okay. So basically a month, 4.5, 5 weeks before primary. So that's when, of course, people will really start to get interested. And
we're 6-7 weeks from ballots. So
I know. Can you believe that?
It's coming quick.
Here we go. Michael, thank you for all you do at Better Spokane, number one, and for this, for keeping us posted and keeping on top of it. We really do appreciate it. So.
And if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, betterspokane.org, get signed up and get our weekly newsletter.
You just had to get that in there, didn't you?
I just slid
it. I know, it's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna take a break until tomorrow at noon, right here. We've got some fun things coming on tomorrow, including the Civil War reenactors that are out at Deep Creek on Memorial Weekend, and they're here. In fact, one of them is General Grant. Will be here in our studio. See how that works. And we've got Dave Lucas, who's going to be here tomorrow on the program as well. So see you tomorrow at noon. Have a great day.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online, LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see this program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.